Welcome to Maya's LEP Portfolio. A little bit about me: I'm a senior here at Georgia State University. My major is middle school education with a focus and concentration in science and language arts. I work full time and go to school time currently. Here's my email information and a link to my blog here at the bottom. My learning environment. So I initially planned to have a very colorful classroom. I wanted to be filled with students' work with an actual Excel wall. This wall will have students who may not be the best in every area, but I try to find at least one time in the semester where a student has excelled in their field that they are comfortable with to demonstrate that and have it on their wall. So the physical environment, besides it being really colorful with either a mural or if we're allowed to paint it, then we'll do that. For There'll be two types of seating in my classroom. So when the students are doing lecture, quizzes, and tests, it'll be this one here at the bottom, which is my U-shaped class. This allows every student to see the board or me, and it also helps with separation and space for the students to complete individual tasks. For the ones at the top, this is my group seating chart, and this will be for like group assignments, activities, games, debates, anything that the students can work together in. I want to seat them to where they're going to be grouped together. Now, these seats are not stagnant. They can be changed by me or the students if they feel like they want to work with a specific group if it works for them, or if I need to do it by subject and content, depending on who's strong in that area where I need to seat the students. So I would have to really think about it when I'm doing group assignments and activities. So for my unit plan, as I said, the subject is 8th grade. The unit name is Gravity and Energy times 3. The duration of this unit plan will be for a week. The unit goals is by the end of the unit, I will want my students to understand the concepts of gravity and magnetism as it relates to their everyday lives. The characteristics of these students, I want to have the students are going to be in a urban setting. In DeKalb County, it's mostly African American at about 90%. 10% will be Hispanic and a few other racial groups. Not too many social barriers, but some of the students will have learning disabilities, ADHD, attention deficit disorder, and hyperactivity. So the use of group work and activities are implemented to accommodate those students. Materials. The students will be going to the lab. They will be in the classroom, and they will be using the internet, a Web 2.0 tool, and simulations throughout the unit to further their understandings of what I am teaching. So the unit plan timeline: in lesson 1, the students will be introduced to gravity and magnetism. The students will create their own digital story and relate their understandings to their personal experiences. Lesson 2, students will continue their lessons on gravity by completing a treasure hunt activity, expanding into further detail with the use of outside sources. And lesson 3, students will focus on series circuits and parallel circuits, and students will use a simulator to accurately create full functioning circuits with the use of a worksheet. So in lesson 1 is what I really want to go into detail about. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay. So the standard is students will recognize characteristics of gravity, electricity, and magnetism as a major kind of force acting in nature. So these are my technology integration standards. The cultural context and learning characteristics of my students, as I stated before, they may have some type of learning disability. They will be all kinds of learner, visual, kinesthetic, and auditory learners. So I try to implement that throughout my lesson plans to accommodate those students in different ways. Students might be stronger in other areas. Long-term goals, students will be able to successfully demonstrate their understanding of the exerted force of gravity on every mass on Earth and Newton's law of gravity through research and digital learning. So at the end of this, I will assess them with an oral presentation of their digital stories to check their understandings. Does it make sense? And then the summative assessment, there will be a quiz at the end of the class or at the end of creating their digital story to check for their understanding also. So to get the class started, I would first start with a discussion. Now, this will be asking them like, where is gravity? Where do you find gravity? How does it affect you every day? What is the importance of magnetism in our universe? These questions are used to gauge the students to see where they are, see where I need to go, any misconceptions they may have that I need to address. And this will also gauge how fast or slow I take the lesson. So on day one of this introductory of the unit, I will start off with those discussion questions, and then I will play a digital story. Now, the digital story is basically to take place of the textbook that they would have. So I implemented pictures with descriptions of what they need to know that's in their textbook. So day two, well, let me show you the digital story and then we will continue further. So this is my digital story. Let's play it from the beginning. We will begin our unit focusing on gravity as an axle to everything in existence. Gravity is the reason we are able to sit in our seats right now. To understand the importance of this phenomenon, we must first give credit to the scientist who is credited to the math behind it, Sir Isaac Newton. Seen before you. He was born on January 4, 1643 in Woolsthorpe, England. Isaac Newton was an established physicist and mathematician and is credited one of the great minds of the 17th century scientific revolution. With discoveries in optics, motion, and mathematics, Newton developed the principles of modern physics. His laws are still... Now, as I stated before, the relationship between acceleration and an applied force is this equation, mass times acceleration. Force being gravity, mass being the actual object, and acceleration is the speed at which the object moves. When you multiply the mass of the object by the acceleration, that gives you the force acted upon the object. I want you all to think about how gravity is used in these three examples before you. The ramp is going downward, so gravity is going to pull that way. When you set the ball at the beginning here, it's going to roll down this way. The second one is it's going down the opposite way. So gravity is going to want to pull it forward, going back towards the hand. But if the force is coming from behind it, it takes more energy to push it forward than for it to go back. So that is just a little snippet of my digital story. Let's go back to the main screen. So that was my digital story. Let's go down to the unit plan. So I have two more lessons. Lesson 2 is actually my treasure hunt. Let's see, my treasure hunt. Okay, so the treasure hunt will basically be the students will be taking notes of the articles before I even let them know why they're taking notes. This is to prevent them from just skimming through the actual articles to get the information and the answers to the treasure hunt. So once they get the the notes written down, then I will instruct them to complete the treasure hunt, and that way they will have more than just the notes of the answers. They can get further information to further their knowledge and their understanding on the subject. Students that either have disabilities where they can't use the computer will be able to be given a worksheet of the articles and the treasure hunt that I will grade by hand, so that I can accommodate students that may have some type of disabilities. And then this is where you will find my treasure hunt down here at the bottom. And for my last lesson, it's actually going to be a simulation of circuit and parallel and series circuits. So this is the energy in circuits. So the standard is students will recognize characteristics of gravity, electricity, and magnetism as the major forces acting in nature. So I chose to focus this one on the electricity part. So they will demonstrate the disadvantages and advantages of series and parallel circuits and how they transform energy. So in this one, students will have a worksheet where they are instructed to create 2 different kinds of circuits, series and parallel, and they will go to this let's go to it. So the students will go to the circuit simulator to create their own personal circuits. Once they finish that, that's how I will know their knowledge of circuits, if they are able to successfully complete a series circuit. So let's go back. So the design team is me. I'm working by myself, so there's not much there. But there you have it. There's my LEP portfolio. Thank you so much.